Revelation 17 is the beginning of the third of the four visions that John sees. Each one of these is marked by the phrase in spirit. John is in spirit on Patmos, and Jesus appears to him. He's in spirit, and he's taken up into heaven, and he sees the Lamb open the book, and then trumpets, and then bowls poured out. In the third vision, he's in spirit, and he's taken to the wilderness, and he sees the harlot, Babylon the Great, out in the wilderness. And in the final vision, he's taken up to a high mountain where he sees the true bride descending from heaven, the holy Jerusalem, the holy city, heavenly Jerusalem descending from heaven to earth. These four visions fit together neatly. There are two ascents. John goes from Patmos up into heaven, and then he goes from the wilderness to a high mountain. The first ascent, John is following the pathway of the martyrs who are taken from earth up into heaven. In the second ascent, he's moving from the wilderness to a mountain, just as Israel did in the Exodus. His visions follow the path of a second Exodus, leaving Babylon behind and going back into the Holy Land. But we also have a movement from Jesus to the bride. Jesus appears as the Son of Man in the first vision. He appears as the Lamb in the second vision. But the last two visions focus on female characters. The first one on the false bride, the harlot. The last vision on the true bride, heavenly Jerusalem that descends to earth. But who is this harlot that John sees in the wilderness in this third vision? Many readers of Revelation assume this must be the city of Rome. After all, the harlot is dressed in finery. She's unfaithful. She's persecuting Christians. She's sitting on the back of a beast that has 7 heads, which represents 7 mountains. All of these things seem to match up with Rome, the city that rules over the kings of the earth. But I think that's a misreading. I don't think the harlot is the city of Rome. The harlot sits on the back of a beast that represents the Roman Empire. But the harlot city herself is the city of Jerusalem. She's not just dressed in finery. She's dressed like a priest, and she even has a plate on her head that has an inscription. The high priest had an inscription that said, "Holy to Yahweh." But Babylon the Great has an inscription that shows her devotion to her God, which is herself, Babylon the Great, mother of harlots. She's a priestly city. The real clue, though, comes at the end of Revelation 18, when John is told that this is the city that sheds the blood of the prophets and the saints. That's Jerusalem. In the Bible, the persecuting city is always Jerusalem. The harlot city is always Jerusalem. The city that John sees in the wilderness, the harlot city that's going to fall because she drinks the martyr blood. That harlot city is Jerusalem, the Jerusalem that is now cooperating with Rome in order to persecute the saints. And it's by shedding their blood in union with Jesus that the martyrs overcome that harlot city.